What's going on, everybody? Today we're doing something very special. Today we're taking a look at a brand new Neca Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figure. This figure was just revealed at San Diego Comic-Con, and this figure has been traveling all the way to Ohio from the convention in San Diego to Ohio and started to ship online. And I got him at Target last Sunday out of the wild, and I'm super duper excited. I have a figure that I was not expecting to find, and I got it. I was really frustrated too because I couldn't go out to Target to start hunting for these things because I have a job. You have to work. If you have a full-time job, you have to work. And you have no time for your hobbies. Until on that fateful Sunday, I was freaking out because I called the Target and they did not have the Slash. But I went to the store. They had so many Leatherheads, and I got it, and I'm just freaking out. I got Leatherhead, and he's one of my favorite villains too. And I am Sash the Boss. This happens to be a brand new line of Turtles figures. This is my first Mutanable figure, but it's also my very first Leatherhead in the collection, but it's also my very first wrestling turtle from the Mirage comics. It says NECA Adventure Series, and it has Leatherhead in the packaging here. I don't own the other Slash shows in this line, but it says Nickelodeon. This is Leatherhead, and they got the Stump Arena presents Kevin Eastman's and Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures Leatherhead. And I think that is a really cool little call up here. It really reminds me of a classic action figure toy there. And then over here you have this beautiful side art of Leatherhead. Absolutely beautiful. Oh man, this thing is just so cool. Love the eyes there. Really reminds me of something from the Archie comics. I've never read Archie there. And it says, Stump Arena presents Kevin Eastman's and Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures Leatherhead. And then this is like all these little wrestling moves. You can do like almost like a frog splash kind of thing. And then he has his arm raised in the air. No ring yet, but it's also Mondo Gecko, Belly Bomb, and the Gray Horn. This guy was hitting, and this one was on the Target website at the time, but it was really hard to find. I'm not sure if it's still on the website. But I have no idea who this is. The Mondo I saw in the wild. Absolutely beautiful figure. But, yeah, just really cool. Okay, guys, without further ado, let's see who made this figure happen and responsible for it. I've been dying to open them up. I've been waiting until this Friday when I'm off to take a look at them, because you'd probably see why in a second. But it says director Randy Folk, Trevor Sherman, Sculpt Fabrication. This fabric in there? The Sculpt and the fabrication team work together. Huh, interesting. I didn't know that. We got the paint apps. So shout out to everybody here for the prototypes. The prototype guy, shout out to him for making these possible to come out. Photography, illustrations, packaging, and then this is the barcode for hunting Leatherhead. So fingers crossed you guys can get them. If not, it's okay. This is 2024 by NECA Toys, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and this is a brand spanking new figure too. Wow, I cannot believe I have a new. Also, before we take a closer look at Leatherhead, let's go over the rules with this figure as well. Before we open him up, we also have some handy dandy nail clippers, because that's the easiest way to get out the turtles, and I just absolutely loved it. And I also thought this figure too was a happy medium between like regular and I was going to say like regular and cartoony, but also very zany, so that makes sense. So let's take a look. I didn't know what the backdrop was going to be on this figure, but this is really cool too, with a giant floating cow head, like a mascot cow. I want this in figure form somehow, NECA. Give us this cow. I would actually buy this. I don't know what I would do with it in the collection, other than it's really zany. It's a cow hot air balloon or UFO, and they got like this asteroid, kind of like this really nice like comic graded like panel there. Really cool. I love the outer space thing too. I wonder if this takes place in the Cosmo area. This is probably the space arena too. So interesting. The Stump Arena. So this is probably the Stump Arena, and this must be Stump. I don't know. That's my guess. I didn't read Archie comics, but I might have to start getting into the Archie comics after looking at this. And then, guys, over here, this is what Leatherhead looks like out of the packaging. Just in a little tray bubble here. And his tail's kind of separated from the hands in the clam tray. So let's take a look. NECA has really stepped over the game here with this figure packaging. Getting him out was super easy. It was a breeze. Only like 3 little like loose little plastic pieces he had to get off. Like super easy. No chest garment on him. The only thing that was sewed on was his feet. So Very cool. That's also one of the first pinless NECA figures from the Turtles line. Really cool to see that. So he does come with his tail here, going off some of the accessories. I'm going to get this tail on him eventually, but I kind of want to showcase what the tail looks like. I love that green scale, alligator scale pattern through and through the figure here. It's really smooth, and then it has like these sharp little edges around the tail, just like a classic cartoon gator would have in an actual alligator. So really cool to see the realism between like a cartoon alligator and a real alligator. And then here is the underneath of them. Nothing really special besides this lime green and black little dots on them. Really interesting on some cartoon shaded lining. So really cool there. And then we do get a pair of open hands, just the leather hands right here, Leatherhead's hands. Love the cracked scales on the skin of the gator. The only gripe I see on this thing so far is non-painted fingernails. I really wish NECA would go the extra mile and just paint those like that yellow color instead of those green nails. Maybe this is how we look in the comics. I'm not 100% sure. I never read the comics, but I know the Mirage one will have that paint apps on there, so that's a little bummer there. I'm a little disappointed on that. This is one of my most anticipated, because I was expecting to get them a year later, but there's the other hand too. Same little detail. The nails are very sharp on this thing too. Very, very sharp. Be careful with that. And then this is the inside of the open hand. And then you have some grappling hands. Very cool. Nothing very special with that grappling hand there. So there's that. And then there is the fisted hand. Oh, other open hand too. So I don't know what they're going to do with the grasping hands. There's no other accessories in that besides the hand. So just get a couple of interchangeable hands. Very basic for a NECA figure. And then the tail. So very basic there. And just the only gripe is the fingernails I'm noticing, which is a little annoying. Paint up it's amazing, but the fingernails, that could have been better. Sorry for complaining about Leatherhead's nails. Also, let's put on the tail and see how hard this is. I may need to heat it up, but I don't know. My mom is on the other side, but you can't really heat up things, but I'd love to heat up this tail. So let's see if I get this on without using heat. Okay, my dad helped me get the tail in. The only gripe I see with the tail, it might fall off over time. Just be very mindful because you don't get the ball joint like kind of snatched. Because mine was kind of like chipped because the paint apps. But just be very mindful once you apply the tail. I'll show you because like the joint in it is in, but like it's very like hard to see on camera what I'm talking about. But it's kind of like plugged in kind of like right there, but just be very mindful with that. So don't like get them in crazy poses is what I'm trying to say. So it's in, you kind of get them like kind of like this. So it'd be kind of cool to do the paint apps kind of like this. So let's do that. So going over our crazy crocodile's head sculpt here, he just looks absolutely stellar. I love the yellow eyebrows. I think it just really gives him the pop of color. And then the eyes just look like he just stepped out of the comics. I just absolutely adore his black and like cartoon and white eyes. And that little half circle in there just really screams cartoon in my opinion. And then over here he has this beautiful alligator smile with this really beautiful like shell staining kind of like we see the cartoon line with his scales kind of popping up with this more of this texture on the sculpt. And then going down off of him, you got his six-pack abs kind of drawn on him. The more of the lime green, the same sculpting you saw in the hands with a little bit of black wash. And then some more cell staining all over it. And then the trunks are just this normal boxing trunks with a white strap kind of area. And then you have like the lineage, which is really cool to see that, the cuffs area of the shorts. So it's really cool to see that nice and purple. Nothing very special about those shorts besides the wrinkles. Same material as like the Mondo Gecko and the turtle jackets, something similar like that. Very soft hollow plastic. And then we also see the kneecaps are also the same here, all pinless by the way. And then he has his black boots on, and then he got the shell shaded on the legs here with the paint with I think it's probably a pinhole right here covering up, which is really nice and sneaky there where the pinhole is for the sneaker. It just the purple pegs, so it really makes sense for the Chucks to have something a little different here. And then something else I noticed about this figure too, you got the white little trunk straps as well on this thing. So yeah, very nice. And I love the teeth as well. When you actually look into his mouth, it's actually articulated. It's a little tight, but once you do, you can see the alligator tongue inside this crazy crocodile. Very cool. Okay, guys, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but I just recently had a procedure done. So that's why it's really hard to turn my neck. So I just had some stitches done. So it's kind of interesting to do the video with stitches in your neck. It feels fine, but just have a big band-aid on, so it's a little interesting. So the articulation for Leatherhead, let me turn on the lights a little brighter here. It's really interesting. So his head can look up about this much, look down this much, and turn his head side to side, very tight out of the packaging for the Leatherhead because he's on this ball joint, deep ball joint. He does have his mouth can actually articulate, so that's really cool to see him smile. And then his arms move out this much, really tight though for his arms. I kept some fisted hands out of the packaging. And then he has the purple armbands. I forgot to show you the purple armbands on this thing. Really cool. He has single jointed elbows, a little annoying there. He has ab-crunch forward, ab-crunch back, a diaphragm joint. I love the diaphragm on this figure. Really nice. Like sometimes NECA figures are hit or miss, where like the articulation is kind of like mismatched. But this one doesn't really have that like tightness so far, which I really like. So shout out to NECA for doing a really good job with that. And then he has his tail articulation. You don't want to play around too much with it. Once it's in, it's in. You can look up and down with the tail if you want to do that or not. The tail is really cool. It makes the figure a little more heavier, but then his legs can move out this much, guys. And then he does have a double joint knee. To be careful when you're articulating the knees, you don't want the tail to pop out. So just be really mindful. I kind of go with like a stationary kind of pose for this figure. You could go dynamic, but I wouldn't recommend it because the tail could pop off pretty easily, and I just don't want that to happen. Other than that, very spotless figure. I love it. Very clean. I love how it's pinless compared to like a Baxter Stockman. He's also pinless. Dang it, I need it. No, he's not. Never mind. You can see like the pins on the legs there, so it's kind of hard to see on camera, but you know what I'm talking about, those pins on the figure, so just be mindful when you articulate them. So let me get him some other hands, and then I will give you my final verdict. Okay, guys, here is Raphael sitting enjoying his pizza. It's very hard to stand up, Raphael, but here he is, the punk disguised Raphael, standing next to Leatherhead. And these guys just work very well side by side. And something that I love about the Archie Comics figures, they go really well with the Punk Turtles. Like, if you have the Punk Turtle set and you don't have any other turtle figures, this is perfect. If you love, like, any of the turtles, this is just totally perfect. It fits right in with the cartoon line, which I was expecting. I sure did. When I saw the figure, I'm like, yeah, this pair well beautifully. And this is easily became one of my new prides and joys in my collection. Just absolutely love them. So here he is with Raphael. I just absolutely adore these two as characters. It seems like Raphael, out of any of the turtles, would probably befriend Leatherhead, because I think he's just a silly little alligator with mean intentions at times. But he's just a really cute characters, and just, I don't know, I think really cool. Also, here's the final comparison I'm going to do. I have a lot more figures I could showcase with Leatherhead, but they're all downstairs on display at the moment. But this is Baxter Stockman next to Leatherhead. I wanted to show you another classic villain to another classic villain. So we got what's his name? Baxter Stockman and Leatherhead kind of side by side. So it's really cool to see both of them and their demeanors just really go hand in hand. So very nice. And you can also do something a little like this. Hey dude, not cool, you ate my pizza, brother. Why do you eat my pizza? I love that, dude. This is super fun. Well, guys, all in all, this is an excellent NECA figure from hand to hand. Being the first ever pinless NECA figure that I own in my collection is beautiful. I think Alf might be pinless, but regardless, this is one of the first Turtles figure that is actually pinless, and I absolutely adore Leatherhead. He's just super fun because he combines with my love of wrestling, my love of cartoony, weird, and obnoxious characters, and I just love the pops of green throughout the figure, and he's just super fun to play with and super fun to pose around. And this is actually a really simple figure, but there's also a lot going on with this figure at times. I love him. He's a really cool conversation figure, and I just love the turtle line, and this is just a perfect fit for my collection. So, as always, I am Sasha Boss, and before I close this out, I gotta say, this figure is a 10 out of 10. My only gripe is no boxing gloves and no painted fingernails. I think a little yellowing would make this figure 10 times better, but at the end of the day, this is a solid 10 out of 10 for me. Easily one of NECA's best pieces of the year. and it's kind of sad that the NECA releases has finally come to an end once again for 2024 cartoon figure wise. I think there might be some maybe this winter. I'm not 100% sure, but I know next Haulathon it's going to get even better. So as always, I am Sasha Boss, and it's kind of sad that the line has come to a close this year, and then it's going to come back again for next Haulathon. So thank you, and I'll see you guys later for more action figure videos like this in the future. Let me know what figure you guys want to see next reviewed. If you like this, give it a like and please subscribe. And as always, thank you so much.